Hello guys, today I have a confession to make. I hate Scrum. Yes, you hear me right, but before you click that dislike button, please hear me out. I want to have an honest conversation about Scrum. Basically deep dive in three key things. First, why I feel angry with Scrum right now, why I have like this frustration today. Second, let's talk about the infamous fake Scrum, but especially who is really responsible for it. And number three, even if you want to continue with this framework, I will help you to set up for success with 3 tips, but I promise that the final one is going to be at least controversial, alright? So, wherever you are like a true fan of Scrum right now, or you are starting having your doubts, I think this video will be interesting for you. So let's get started. First things first, why I'm hating Scrum right now? Why I feel this anger inside? We will get into that, but I believe that Scrum is now a victim of its own success. So we cannot neglect that Scrum is really successful as a product. We have like these two big organizations behind Scrum, like Scrum Alliance and Scrum.org, that are providing and helping with trainings and certification and promoting the Scrum culture. Also, we are seeing that the Scrum is now just part of the job market. So you can go to LinkedIn, search for jobs for Scrum Master in different levels of seniority. Same for product owners. Also, we have this Scrum guide that is kind of the book, the Bible of Scrum, that is updated every 3-4 years, or there is no fixed schedule, but each time that is updated, there is like this a big revolution. But here is a problem. Within the last 5 years, I saw with the customers that I had the luck to work a really common pattern. Something that smells like a Scrum, that looks like a Scrum, but that doesn't provide the values, the outcomes that are typical from Scrum. I call it a fake Scrum. So how do you know if you are in a fake Scrum organization? It's kind of easy, to be honest, most of the time. So you are seeing some of these things. First, they are using the term Agile and Scrum used interchangeably, right? So sometimes they call Agile, Scrum, or they say something like, yeah, Agile or Scrum, whatever term you want to use, right? So that's a first red flag. The second thing that I'm seeing really common is like this push for trying to use relative estimation like story points, but trying to do a translation to hours in order to understand like deadlines. Then you can have a hard time to schedule meetings because people is complaining, right? So why we have all these additional meetings? So that tell us that they don't understand the value behind them. Another common thing finally is like, hey, we don't have like Scrum Masters or Product Owners. So we have this combined role merged in some type of manager. Question for you guys, right? So when was the last time that you see a fake Scrum? Please write in the comments. It's going to be really nice to see this information also coming from you. This is why I'm hating Scrum lately, because I'm seeing all these fake Scrum all over the place. And I'm pretty sure that in my next engagement with the next customer, I will see some fake Scrum. But the question is why, right? So why this happened? Why is this so common? Why is happening all the time? There is 2 famous quotes around Scrum. First is that the Scrum is easy to learn and hard to master. And also there is another one that says that Scrum is incomplete by design. So when you take those 2 quotes and you are an experienced leader in Scrum and Agile, then this is fantastic, right? So you understand that you can bring your best practices, complement Scrum, adapt it to your context, and be successful with that. But there is going to be another type of leaders that are going to take like these 2 quotes and read it differently. Something like Scrum is easy and Scrum is incomplete. And then they will say, okay, I will add all this level of customization to the framework to make it work because our organization or company is special and we need all this stuff. And I believe that is what is setting up to failure with a lot of my customers. So they try to rush the implementation and they have like too much customizations since the beginning. So if this pattern is so common, if I already know as an Agile coach that I will see it the next time that I visit a customer, if I ask my colleagues and they are living exactly the same experience, so who is responsible for it? Who should be? Is it still okay to just blame our customers and say, guys, you take like too much customization, you are doing all these things wrong, it's your fault that you are not agile because you miss all those things? That's the most common pattern that I see with young Scrum Masters. But it's time, I believe, to see if there is some responsibility too in the framework itself. Scrum, if you are a product that you are serving customers and a lot of your customers are living this fake Scrum, even with the guidance that you have, do you think that there is a gap there? Should the framework feel responsible as well? Are we becoming Scrum fixers instead of Scrum Masters? What do you think? Okay, but let's say that you want to continue with Scrum. How you can avoid this fake Scrum? I have 3 pieces of advice for you. First, in order to get the knowledge, I recommend that you read the Scrum Guide. Yes, please download that PDF, read it in the web, read it multiple times, look for the audiobook, because I promise that one read to the Scrum Guide is not enough. And if you are planning to take a certification exam to be a Scrum Master, I strongly recommend that you take the training too, right? So don't go directly to the exam, also take the training so you can have an additional perspective from an experienced Scrum Master. Second piece of advice, focus in the pillars of Scrum, right? So we have transparency, inspection, and adaptation. And next to the pillars, we have the 5 Scrum values. Read them, understand them, assess your organization, how well we are against these pillars, because as the name implies, it's part of the foundation of Scrum. Without these pillars and these values in the culture, probably you are going to have a tendency for fake Scrum. And the last one is just don't do it. So if all these things are feeling like too much or too complicated, or by this tag you are feeling that Scrum is more complicated than what you expect, then maybe test Kanban, okay? Kanban is the start where you are method. So, and it doesn't require like big change in titles, in events, in meetings, in anything like that. So it's more like an evolutionary approach that you can do one baby step at a time, understanding the end-to-end, and probably an outcome from Kanban will be, okay, now we are ready to do a Scrum, okay? Let's work together to make Agile transformations and Scrum implementations great one more time. If you enjoyed it like this conversation, if you like to hear more rants from this guy about any other Agile frameworks, please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, right? So I really enjoy talking about agility and how we can move from theory to a practice, but to a practice that could work. That's all for today. Thank you very much and cheers to your Agile success. See you in the next one. Bye bye.